Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. There are not too many people that I wished I met, but the person I will feature in this video is one of that very small number. People that or who died before I got a chance to go and shake their hands and tell them thank you. Thank you for what they left behind them as intellect or something valuable, some courage, intellect, wisdom, and so on. So I'm talking about Stephen Cohen, and he used to be a professor of Soviet or Russian studies, and I used to watch him a lot, and I admire him and his work a lot. I have here a video in which he will talk about NATO and Russia, and for those people who want too much heroin or something, just kidding. For those people who talk about Ukraine and how the Russians invaded unprovoked Ukraine and all that garbage, this is one, how should I put it, one piece that could help you, not piece of information, of knowledge that could open for whomever wants to learn something by following Cohen, Professor Cohen, by looking at his, listening to his speeches, lectures. You learn a lot. And not only that, he's intelligent, he's wise, and he's calm. He's very calm. Now, here, this, look at, this is the professor I was talking about. Unfortunately, he died on September 18th, 2020. His name is Stephen F. Cohen, Jewish, very, very wise. He died at age 81. I know when at one time he used to be invited in the mass media, mainstream corporate mass media, and after he made some comments that were not really okay for the establishment, he was not invited. Let me show you his little lecture here in this video, right here. Ready, set, and go. It's about 4 minutes.
NATO expansion is not over for the Russians. It's a reality. NATO's sitting on its borders. It's not about future NATO expansion. It's about current. NATO expansion represents the following to Russia. And near this, I will end. It represents a profoundly broken promise to Russia made by the first Bush that in return for united Germany and NATO, NATO would not expand eastward. This is beyond any dispute. People say, well, they never signed a treaty. But a deal is a deal. The United States gives its word unless we're shysters.
Shysters.
And if you don't get it in writing, we'll cheat you. We broke our word. And when both Putin and Medvedev say publicly to Madeleine Albright and others, we, Russia, feel deceived and betrayed, that's what they're talking
about. Got that? Gentleman understanding? It seems like one side was not a gentleman.
So NATO represents, on the part of Russia, a lack of trust. You break your words to us. What can...
So who threw the first stone? Russia or NATO / the USA? Is he lying? I don't think so.
To what extent can we trust you? Secondly, it represents military encirclement. If you sit in the Kremlin and you look out at where NATO is and where they want to go, it's everywhere. It's everywhere on Russia's borders. But there's something even more profound that's a taboo in the United States. NATO expansion represents for the Russians American hypocrisy and a dual standard. And they see it this way, and I can't think of any way to deny their argument. The expansion of NATO is the expansion of the American sphere of influence.
Yeah, but we're good. We're good.
Plain and simple. Where NATO goes, our military force goes. Where NATO goes, our arms munitions go because they have to buy American weapons. Where NATO goes, Western soldiers go who date their women. They bring along their habits and all the other things. It's clearly, undebatably, indisputably, an expansion of America's sphere of influence. So there has been a tremendous expansion of America's sphere of influence since the mid-1990s, right plunk on Russia's borders. All the while, every administration, American administration, saying to Russia, including the Obama administration, you cannot have a sphere of influence because that's old thinking. Well, I mean, the Russians may be cruel, but they're not stupid. In other words, what they say is we can now have the biggest sphere of influence the world's ever seen, and you don't get any, not even on your own border. In fact, we're taking what used to be your traditional sphere of influence, along with the energy and all the rest. It's ours now. Again, this idea of a winner-take-all policy. This is the enormous resentment in Russia. The relationship will never become a stable cooperative relationship until we deal with this problem. Does it mean Russia's entitled to a sphere of influence? I don't want to speak for Jack Matlock, but Jack thinks yes, depending on what you mean by sphere of influence. They can't occupy countries. We had a Monroe Doctrine. I don't know what that meant.
Monroe.
But the point is that until this is worked out, the relationship will never truly be post-Cold War. The problem is it's taboo in America to talk about this issue of who has a sphere of influence, who's entitled to it. I think there are solutions, but you can't even get the question asked.
All right, my friends. That was short, clear, and you don't have to trust Professor Cohen whatsoever. But the evidence is there. And I like him because he's very concise. Why? Because he's got a 40-some years of experience, knowledge, direct experience. He lived in Russia, and you can say none of this matter. But I don't know, to me it makes perfect sense. And the Russians said it before many times. Now you can choose to ignore this and continue with we are good and they are bad because we say so. Or you can just try to see more than probably some of people around us did not even try. I understand that sometimes people do not have access. They don't know where to look for. This is a good start. And from here, you're going to find others. And this is the way I usually do. And more before than nowadays, since nowadays I really have less time for that. I used to go on some like professor. There I would find to someone said something and just stumble over him. And I would go maybe for I would binge watch this like Professor Cohen. I don't know how many videos I watched. 300, 200, I don't know. But I watched all of them, and when I could not find anything new, I stopped. So that's why I do with almost every subject that I'm interested in or a person. If I find someone that let's say Glenn Greenwald, I watch everything what this guy said up to the date. I never heard of, well, I watched him a lot, but I'm just saying, before, again, I binge watch one person until I suck everything out of this guy's knowledge. So when I'm going to talk about something, I kind of know almost everything that guy said that I'm interested in. So I obviously pick certain subjects. So I have many of these guys. So what do you think? Is it true? I think it's 100% true. If we are to be honest and if we are to be just, that is, my interest equals your interest in the way that if I'm entitled to have this point of view, you are entitled to have the same point of view, unless I think I'm better than you. And obviously they think and they thought, and for good reasons, but that resulted, I think, in what's going on in Ukraine. I will have another video with Professor Cohen in a minute where he's going to talk about something else, about the Russians, obviously. And you make your mind up. These are just clues, hints. It's up to you to go and look deeper. And if you found this guy before me, obviously, That's fantastic. It means you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it means you're way ahead of the baboons, way ahead. I mean, Professor Cohen is way, 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 way ahead of many, many baboons. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.